Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Gustov's training vlog. And again, his programming is pretty straightforward. So for those who are curious, yeah, we do the big three and it is semi-power building, but really it's just a bodybuilding program, right? We don't do any heavy singles, heavy doubles, any of that. So even his top sets of bench like this, we're usually shooting for 5+ reps. We might occasionally with some of these top sets drop down to 3 or 4, but it's because the stuff's pretty heavy or we're doing multiple sets. So the idea here, I have him on a 4-day body part split, following basic progressive overload. We average around 4 exercises per workout. Now, obviously I want that to be grindy. So that last set, that last rep is a little tough on the bench. So his chest and tricep day, we do 4 exercises, right? We have a bias towards his chest because for him, chest is a little bit of a weak link. So we do make sure that we get 3 different exercises for it. So in this case, we do flat bench, we do barbell incline bench, and then I have him come in and do decline dumbbells. Now for a little while, I had him doing pullovers, and his bench was going up a little slower than I'd like. And he's like, I really don't feel the pullovers in my chest the way that I would like. I'm not really getting a pump. And I'm like, well, if we're not feeling them in your chest, then let's just cut them out. Because triceps are not necessarily a weak link for him. So you guys will see when we do the tricep press downs in a minute. In terms of his overall physique, his triceps are not a weak link. So I don't need multiple exercises for them. One really good tricep exercise with all the pressing is enough. Again, keep in mind, he's an intermediate lifter with physique goals, right? Intermediate lifter with physique goals, which again, with physique goals, there's a reason we have a shoulder day. So you'll notice we have a whole day just for shoulders out of his 4. So essentially his programming is like a push, pull, shoulders, and then legs. So for those trying to look for the pattern in terms of the body part type split. So this first day, chest and triceps. And we do a fair amount of reps here. Most of his stuff is up in about the 8 to 12 rep range. Some of it goes a little higher on some of the isolation. Okay, but some of the big compounds were down around 5, but only we're talking squat, bench, and deadlift, right? Squat, bench, and deadlift. So then we finish up the chest and tricep day with rope press downs. And again, notice no real cheating. I just want it nice and controlled, and I want him to just take sets to failure. So again, our rule for this, we pick weights to where he's around that, 10 to 12 reps, reaching muscle failure on that. So I want him to go till he goes to do a rep and it just sticks and then he can't finish it. That's pretty much what we do here. So right there, you see him fail. He's trying to lock it. He's struggling to lock it, right? You see him fighting with it there, and then he can't do another rep. So just momentary muscle failure. All right, for our pulling day, which is a back and bicep day, we start with pull-ups, right? Weighted pull-ups. Now, we're at a point where he can use a small weight for weighted pull-ups. You get people are like, why bother with a weight that light? Because he can do more than 10 reps with body weight. So we need to add something. Right, we can add something, and we have nice, solid, good pull-ups here. He's got good range of motion, good form. We're using a little bit of weight. This is a strong point for him. Like, I'd go so far as to say his pull-ups are his best exercise. He sent me pictures of his back recently. He's like, man, my back is I'm getting like actually a V-taper when I'm shirtless. So, we're happy with that. He is saying though, he's like, rows in general are getting nauseating. Can we put something else in? He's like, Coach, I swear I'm not trying to be a puss. I'm not pussing out. I'm just getting so nauseated. I'm almost puking. And then it's like, it's ruining my workouts. He's like, I want to do them. I really want to. And based on how he's doing those pull-ups, I know that he's not wimping out on me. It's not that. So he's just getting too nauseated with rows. So I'm like, okay, we can replace them with some machines coming up because he's taking them to failure. But then he was like, look, I couldn't do the dumbbell rows. I was like, having to run to the bathroom to vomit. And I'm like, okay. So when we're eating the same food we were, and it's only rows that seem to do this to him. So I'm like, okay, so we'll replace them with some machines next time. And I'm okay with that. We make those compromises, especially when he's good on pull-ups, right? We're good on pull-ups. So I know it really is an issue for him. It's one thing you have to assess that with each client, And when the guy is telling you, hey, look at his pull-ups. He's willing to go hard like that for 3 sets. And he's like, I'm having to go vomit between the rows and I don't know why and I want to push through them. It's like, okay, in that case, we're taking them out because I can't have you vomiting in the middle of workouts. I guess it's not working. And again, notice how he trains. He's not pussing out. He did those curls. He's going hard with them. So then we finish up with curls on that day. So normally we do 2 types of rows, and then we finish up with a nice solid barbell curl. All right, shoulder day, we start with the straight barbell press. Again, he's got great shoulder mobility. He's able to push the head through the window at the top, stuff I can't do with my own shoulders. So the shoulder press, the standing press, works great for him and his build, his structure. So we train it hard. And then we hammer away and put all the other focus on side delts. Now, because again, physique goals, like he just wants to be big. He doesn't mind training heavy. He's like, if the strength will get me bigger, I'm willing to lift heavy, coach. It's like, I don't care about the strength, but if that's what will get me bigger, I'll lift heavy. I'll go hard. So that's what I want to hear as a lifter. So then obviously we only do the amount of heavy we need to. So then we come in and we do all this pump work, to failure or 1 rep in reserve. So I like to do 2 different exercises for his side delts because again, why? He cares about being big. He wants to be big, wants to look big, wants good physique. So we've got to build his base, and then we'll chisel him down later, right? And he's not really gaining fat, so we're not doing anything but lean bulking. And so our goal here is to recomposition a little bit. And then once we get a little more size base, it's like, okay, we can trim further down and, chisel you down a little bit, but we got to build this base. So we do 2 different side delt exercises. And yeah, we do a fair amount of reps there. For most of the guys who want a physique, want to do some real pump work for the shoulders. So we do upright rows, then he does dumbbell laterals. And the same thing, he has good form here. Like his form's real clean on this stuff. And this is a lifter who just naturally takes to having good form. And you'll see that more often when you get lifters who are like, man, to me, strength, I'm okay with lifting heavy, but it's not my goal. I just want to lift heavy to get big. Okay, see where I'm going? Lifters with that mindset, it's actually really easy to get them to use good form. It's easy to get them to use good form. And that's exactly what we see here, because he doesn't have an ego about what he lifts. I'm used to dealing with both extremes, by the way. Keep in mind, I coach strength athletes too. I coach people who want to ego lift. Right? I coach people who feel like they need to lift heavy just for validation. If they do, I'm going to give them what they need. It's a coach's job. Figure out how to make it work. In his case, he'll train super strict, and I've had no problems with this kid saying, look, I'll come in, I'll go real strict, I'll go to failure, and he'll train hard and he'll do it strict. So this is always a good sign. Like this is a lifter who, I know in a couple years' time he's going to end up being pretty jacked. Why? Because he's willing to train hard and he'll check his ego. He doesn't have an ego about it, but he'll do hard sets and he'll go to failure. If I tell him to go to failure on an exercise, I'm going to see failure. And he'll do it with good form because he's got the mindset for his goal. So lifters like this are highly coachable when their mindset aligns with their actual goal. That's what we're looking for. Now, if they can't get their mindset aligned with their goal, there's a time you have to step back and ask that client, what is it that you really want? Because you're telling me one thing and I'm watching what you do in the gym and you're not reflecting that. Now, in his case, he does. Okay? In his case, he does. He'll do stuff through a full range of motion. He'll use good form. When I tell him to go to failure, I'll see that little bit of failure, right? You see him struggling right there with that rear delt set. He's just like, yeah, you can see him struggling. All right, squats. I'm happy with this. We got like 7 reps on his first set here. All right, so I just have him doing a high bar squat. Why? Because we care about quads. He's not chasing a big squat. Now this angle, I might look at this and go, I might want him to get a hair deeper here. So we might assess that this coming week of saying, hey man, I want you to get these down a little bit lower. It's not bad. It's not bad, but if we want optimal, maybe I want him going a hair lower than this so that we really get those quads. But notice the same thing here. He'll do hard squats. He loses reps on every set because he's pushing them hard enough. But same thing here. Notice he's grinding, he's struggling, so he'll work hard. Same thing deadlifts. I think we have 145 kg here. So again, he's pretty much an intermediate. But he'll do work sets with this, and I've got him to where he'll do a nice full reset. And I only have him do 1 set of deadlifts, if you guys notice on the sheet. So on his leg day, we squat, we deadlift, we do leg presses, we do leg curls. Okay, very, very straightforward. So again, most of these days we do 4 exercises, and that's enough. Intermediate lifter doing four exercises 4 times a week, 16 different movements, right? We train him hard. He trains it strict, and we focus on just basic progression. And it is, everything is just slow progressive overload. I adjust volumes and I adjust exercises as need be. If I'm not getting really what I want out of it, or he's not feeling it and he tells me I'm not really feeling it here and I can't adjust the form, I'm like, okay, we'll rotate a different movement in. And we'll need to periodically rotate some movements just due to overuse potential. But again, this is a real good setup. 4 days a week, 4 exercises. And we can get pretty overall balanced development. So again, we're still base building because he's not an advanced lifter yet. He will be though, right? And he's also probably not going to get hurt because he checks his ego. He's willing to use good ranges of motion. Now again, some of the leg stuff, I'd like him a little deeper. The only critique I have of his lifting at this point, maybe some of the leg work, we can go a little deeper. But that's not a bad problem to have. Again, it's got a nice, good, mature approach to the lifting. And then we finish up with some leg curls. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.